Hi everybody, I'm Keston, and you're going to see the top 46 Marvel comics in my collection. I just got this box. It's a $30,000 book, and it'll be in the top tier. I'm going to show my books in 3 tiers. The first tier are books that I got as a kid. You're going to recognize most of them. Then we'll go to the second tier, which are mid-level Silver-Age keys, and in the top tier are the biggest books of the Silver Age. Here we go with the first issue of the Unlimited series of The Punisher. What a gritty series. Here we have the sensational She-Hulk. In her hand, she holds a copy of the Savage She-Hulk. That was the first issue of her earlier series. This is X-Men 222, a classic cover of Wolverine and Sabretooth. Ooh, Ghost Rider #1. Beautiful cover. I love the way the flame is around the skull. Now we're going to the West Coast Avengers #45. This is the first appearance of the White Vision. Now we're going into some Spider-Man. Here we have the third part of the first Carnage series. We'll go back 1 issue, and this is the second part. And I was very fortunate to pick up 361, the first appearance of Carnage, when I was a kid. This is when I started slowing down with my comic book collecting. I missed a lot of issues between the 360s and the 320s, but I did pick up this one, Amazing Spider-Man number 332. Here's Spider-Man #1. This is the series that Todd McFarlane started. There's about 10 billion of those books out there. I've got Venom #1, of course, The Lethal Protector. That book is really common as well. Got that cool red foil. Some people hate those foil covers. Now here is the tail end of my McFarlane run. That's 328. I actually have 2 copies, the direct edition and the newsstand edition. The original art for this book went for something like $650,000 back in the day. Here's 325. Ooh, nice Sabretooth cover. I believe I got 2 copies of that as well. Here we have 323. You can see it's faded. That's because I had this book up on the wall and the sun got to it. One thing great about this McFarlane run is how many of the old school original villains appeared. So this has a throwback of ASM 20. That was the first appearance of Scorpion. Here we have McFarlane doing Venom. This cover is even more well known. If you're thirsty, there's a little Hydro Man. This is probably the lamest of the run. One of my favorites, you got the Lizard, who is huge on this cover. Makes me think about ASM #6. Here we have 2 Goblins, Green and Hob. This is probably my favorite cover of the whole series. Brings back ASM 13 memories. The original art for this book just sold a few weeks ago for $450,000 and some change. That's a cool book with MJ on the cover. I also have the annual where Spider-Man and MJ got married. Ooh, this is one of my favorite books. Got the Prowler on the cover looking so cool. As we're winding down now, I can sense your excitement because what's coming up in 300, you know what it is. For whatever reason, I have a 4-issue gap right here. When I was collecting comic books a lot, and somehow I don't have the biggest grail of my childhood. I do have 298, which is the first cameo of Venom, and then I've got a ton of books before that too. So out of about a 50 book run, I'm missing 4 or 5 books, including the most important. Fortunately, several years later, I was able to grab a copy. Of course, I paid a lot more for ASM 300 than if I bought it off the newsstand. Nevertheless, it's nice to have the first appearance of Venom in my collection. Finally, we are into the tier #2, and I've got Silver Surfer #4, one of the most classic covers of the Silver Age. We have Thor and the Silver Surfer at the moment before Awesome Impact. One of the best covers of all the Silver Age. At 9, we're going to go with one of the original Avengers first appearances. This is the Wasp helping out Ant-Man in Tales to Astonish #44 from 1963. We'll go to another first appearance of an Avenger in Avengers #57. And this is the first appearance of the Silver Age Vision. Love this classic John Buscema cover. It has been swiped many times, including in that West Coast Avengers book. Let's move to another issue 57, but this time it's in Fantastic Four, one of the best Dr. Doom covers in my humble opinion. This particular copy is pretty nice. It's about an 8.5. We'll stick with the Fantastic Four. We'll move up a few issues earlier. This is Fantastic Four #52, which is the first appearance of the Black Panther. Now this one might be in the top tier, except it's pretty low grade. It's actually missing the centerfold, but cool Jack Kirby cover. Now let's move to the top tier. At number 5 is Avengers number 1. Y'all know that group. It features Thor, Hulk, old school Iron Man. You got Ant-Man and the Wasp down there that are really small. And you got Loki, who is there in the foreground. Classic book from 1963. At number 4, we have a big book. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 1. This is the favorite sentimental book in my entire collection because it got me into collecting Silver Age books. Amazing Spider-Man number 1 from 1963. It's Spider-Man's second appearance, but his first in his own series. Amazing Spider-Man, which is probably the most famous series of all comic books. The next 3 books you're going to see are the 3 biggest, and they cost about the same. This one is Fantastic Four, number 1 from 1961. This is the book that brought about the Marvel Universe that we know and love today. One thing that's interesting about this book is that it's 10 cents. So this came out in 1961. It's not until 1962 that the comics started costing 12 cents. At number 2 is the King of the Silver Age himself. This is Amazing Fantasy number 15, the first appearance of Spider-Man. This Kirby cover is etched in just about every collector's mind. And finally, the number 1 book, the newest book in my collection. Let's check it out. Welcome to the collection, Hulk number 1. It's been a long time. I did have a Hulk 1 that I bought in 2012 or 13, and I sold it in 2014. It was a 4.5, a nice copy, and I've missed it. I haven't had a copy since then, and I thought, it's time. I need to get one back in my collection. This is a very nice 5.5. Sometimes you get a book in the mail, and you open it up and you're like, there's some flaws that you might not have seen before. You might not quite be as happy with it. This one, I am ecstatic with it. It looks better than it did online, and I want to thank Comic Connect for hooking me up with this particular book. It's super clean, no Marvel chipping here. A lot of the times the upper part of the cover can look really bad. It looks pretty tight. There's a little bit of stress here. That's probably the biggest issue that you can see, but otherwise a really nice presenting copy. In fact, it looks more like a 6.5 than a 5.5. The reason it's a little bit lower is that it has a bit of tape there on the bottom left-hand side. You can barely see it from the front, but if you turn to the back, it becomes a little bit more obvious. Off-white to white pages, great copy. However, as nice as this book is, if I look at my overall top 25 comic books, it doesn't crack my top 6. If you want to see my top 25 collection, check out this video. Thank you for watching, my friends, and hope to see you around real soon.